Hi folks, Dr. Bob McCauley. Humic acid and fulvic acid. What are they and how do they work in the body?
He said, we're part of the earth. We're the same as that tree. He said, you're the same. You're the same as that tree. You need water. You need light. You're dependent. He said, without the earth, you wouldn't be here.
Humus, or humate as it's known, it really is where what we grow our food in. This is our soil. It's all this broken down organic material that's been sitting there and it's decaying and it turns into the humate. And the humus, or what they call humates, and from that we get humic acid, and then from humic acid we derive fulvic acid. Now the word humus and human, they come from the same word. Really, it means from the earth, of the earth, and that's what we are, really, from the earth, right, as human beings. And the humus is where we get our food. That's what it grows on. That's the substrate of everything. And as you know now, we found that really we don't have enough minerals in the soil the way we did, say, really 100 years ago. 150 years ago, we had something like, about 300 times more mineral density in the soil than we have now. It's at least depleted over 10 times. I've talked for a long time about something called Shilajit, what I like to call Himalayan clay. It comes out, it's the same thing. It's humic matter or humate matter, or humus, that comes out of the Himalaya mountains. And it's got a lot of fulvic acid in it, and it's very mineral dense, and it's really, really healthy. Well, I've got some that comes from actually New Mexico that I like a lot better. Where you find humate and humate matter is where there's a continental divide. So you see these two continents, like when we have the United States, the continental divide. So we see these continents coming together. That's where you find this humate, this humic matter, and they harvest it there. We break it down with this special machine so your body can absorb it, so you could take it in a capsule. And then we also take it and we expose it to water, the humate, and we end up with humic acid, and then finally fulvic acid. You take humic acid, you can take them together. I actually have humic and fulvic acid I put together. You can take humic by itself. I usually take them apart, but they don't have to be taken. They can be taken at the same time. Humic acid, a lot of people take it right before they go to bed because they want a really good night's sleep. For some people, that really just zonks them out and they sleep right through the night. It's pretty amazing. No, either way, humic acid is a very powerful detoxifier. It brings the thing, takes things out of the body that don't belong there. It oxygenates the blood extremely well. It's antimicrobial. It's an immune system builder, and it's an anti-inflammatory. Also oxygenates the blood extremely well. It balances the cell's electrical current, so we don't have too much of the positive and too much of a negative. It leaves it very well balanced. It assists with mineral transfer throughout the body, and it's incredibly mineral dense. I mean, this is one of the main reasons you take humic and fulvic acids are for the minerals. And that's all been farmed out of the soil, so it's really important. Things like, this kind of clay, which I'm calling American Shilajit, or just humic acid, fulvic acid, very mineral dense. It's really incredibly important that we get those into our diet, because every physiological process in the body depends on minerals. I mean, as I said many, many times before, minerals are the keys that start the engines to our health. There's a specific mineral used for every single physiological process of the human body. I always say, magnesium, that's your heart beating, but also magnesium for your brain. Bones in your calcium. Tin is actually for hearing. Iodine's for your thyroid. Indium for your pineal gland. Yet we've depleted our food so you don't get them. So you need to really supplement with something like this. And there's really no better way to get those into the body than you can with such a natural source than you can with humic acid. So from the humic acid, you derive something called fulvic acid. Fulvic acid is absolutely one of the most important and amazing nutrients we should consume, and we should consume it every day. The reason people take things like, humic acid, they get Shilajit, they take it, they take American Shilajit. They're all looking for something called fulvic acid. Fulvic acid is absolutely amazing stuff. You take it, you hold about a teaspoon in your mouth, and just hold. It'll just go right into your body through your sublingual duct, and give you huge amounts of energy. It assists it assists with nutrient transport and nutrient absorption throughout the body. Fulvic acid. I mean, fulvic acid binds with anything. It'll bind with any kind of matter, and when it does that, then it'll carry it right into the body more efficiently than really almost any other kind of substance we know about. So fulvic acid is really this amazing thing. And again, we farmed it out of the soil, and you just don't find it in foods anymore. But we need to get a lot of it. Fulvic acid has very powerful anti-cancer properties. It gives you a lot of energy. It regulates blood sugar levels. It purifies, stimulates, and heals the pancreas really, really well. But what it does is it just everything really works better in the presence of fulvic acid. I really can't say enough about this. I mean, it's just something I take every single day. I usually take it first thing in the morning. I don't like to take it right before bedtime because it does tend to give you a lot of energy. The amount of things this does in the body, I think we're still studying fulvic acid to find out everything it actually does. But it's really best in just its purest form when it comes out of a humic substrate, the way we get it out of New Mexico. And I like the stuff coming out of New Mexico. I think it's really the best in the world. People talk about Shilajit. I sell Shilajit. It's amazing stuff. There's a lot of fake Shilajit out there. You got to be really aware of that. People calling it Shilajit because you don't know what's you really have in that capsule, and it's not Shilajit at all. So you really need to be careful about that. And that's, once again, I go back. We know where this stuff comes from. I know the producer. I know who he harvests it. They harvest themselves, and they process themselves, and that's what you're really looking for when you want to get a really good fulvic acid and a humic acid. But I really can't say enough about these and what they do in the body and how they really help to assimilate nutrients better than any other kind of acids that we have out there, or any other kind of nutrient that just bonds with it and helps bring it into the body. One of the ways fulvic acid does this is it really just attaches itself to blood cells. It bonds with anything. And then when it does this, now it's a natural carrier. So if it's grabbed onto some calcium or whatever, I mean, it's at a blood cell, it's just going to carry that right through the body. It's kind of the way fulvic acid works. So humic acid, fulvic acid, the fulvic comes out of the humic acid. Ours comes right out of New Mexico. You can take them together. It's just the kind of the quick way to do it. You can do them separately. I usually do about like a shot of each of these every single day. That's 2 tablespoons, so I probably do 2 tablespoons of each one of those. Sometimes I do a little more. If I'm lacking energy that day, I'll do a little more fulvic acid. But they're just absolutely amazing, and they do just come, it's really right out of the earth. The best thing to remember always is that humus and humic acid and human, same word, we both come from the earth. Dr. Bob, I'll see you next time. Visit us at watershed.net.
We're part of the earth. We're the same. Without the earth, you wouldn't be here. It's your mother. He said you're dependent, total dependent.